from the original motion picture soundtrack of the late, great Dr. Maya Angelou directed feature Down in the Delta. That was two people whose stories are intertwined in this song that are, in a sense, united by tragedy. Tony Thompson was the former lead singer of a group called High Five, yes. High Five. And regrettably, in trying to navigate the space of fame and everything that goes along with having to grow, in an industry where boy bands, or, before we called them boy bands, young men groups who were trying to emulate the success of groups like New Edition and what have you, and growing up in the industry, sometimes it's hard to find your voice as you continue to mature. And Tony Thompson suffered from that and was killed in a very tragic way in his hometown of Houston. And Antoinette is a name that you probably are completely unfamiliar with, but she was one of the, and I don't necessarily like the term baby mamas, but she was one of the baby mamas of the late Gerald Levert, but got a chance to show that it wasn't just her, trying to ride the wave of her man's success, that she actually was quite a gifted vocalist in her own right, and has never necessarily received any true accolades within the music industry for her own voice and her own success. But, Dr. Angelou had a way of bringing folks together and giving them their moment to shine. And this Down in the Delta's soundtrack, I think, is a great example of young up-and-comers along with veterans like Stevie Wonder, like Whitney Houston, who participated on it as well, and showing the positive influence that our culture can have in so many different respects. But the title of that song is We Belong Together. I have no idea if you can still find the Down in the Delta soundtrack in print. But usually during Black History Month is a time when channels like BET or some of their film channels may dig out Down in the Delta for you to actually watch the film, a story that talks about holding on to your values and trying to help one of the children that got away from family homeland and got away from the kind of nurturing arms of the family, to bring her back in and let her know that she's still connected, and that even though you might not have understood some of the decisions made by the elders, that it was always with you and those who come after you in mind. And so on this first Friday of Black History Month, just wanted to conjure some of that up.
Was it that good a movie?
I mean, that was the underlying message. Now, whether you say it was well acted or whether you say that the story was that well developed, that was the moral of the story. Okay. And so I got that from it. And I love the soundtrack.
Okay, I haven't seen it in years.
The music is going to be a point of entry.
But to answer your question, so Down in the Delta you can get for $8 in a double feature with Serafina.
No, but you're talking about the film.
The film. The soundtrack you can't get on Spotify. Yeah, I don't even see the soundtrack on Amazon offhand, but... Yeah, so you dig in the crates.
Yeah, well...
Down in the Delta soundtrack, $9.75 right now.
On Amazon?
98 cents used, so it just shows how valuable your record collection really is.
That's it. Hey, this is what I try to tell people. Okay. It's like you gotta support this stuff when it's out, because you never know if you're going to have access to it again.
I forgot to bring... I was going to show off today. I was going to bring in my copy of Emancipation, the Prince 3 CD. That's one. Oh. That was the first song. That was the first album they took off title when
really?
After Prince died. They said
that's the first one they snatched back.
Was a lawyer. He said, forget what Prince told you. We taking all these back. We're gonna put them on Apple. We're gonna put them on Spotify. It's not. I will say, no title exclusives.
So what's funny about this? And hello everybody. Welcome to our this week's edition of Reelblack Radio. As you see, Mike Dennis is in the house. But as we're talking about these lines between the film itself and the soundtracks, Prince and that Emancipation album is yet another one.
Betcha by golly wow.
For it to be 3 CDs long, there are maybe 6 songs in 3 CDs that I play relentlessly.
Well, that was my critique originally. Now that there's no more new Prince music, I love the album.
Yeah,
I listen to the whole album. I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Well, for people,
I mean, there's still a couple tracks you go skip.
Mr.
Happy.
They're more than a few. But for those people who know me in my other incarnation as the vibe mistress for Soul Sanctuary Radio, you know that his song Soul Sanctuary comes from Emancipation. And that is the theme of that podcast for me. So there's a lot of...
Now that's a CD. That was one... That's a CD for a long time. You see it at Rite Aid for $7. Like
really?
3 CDs for $7. I'd be like, wow. And
I don't
now,
remember how much I paid for it because I did have the physical CDs.
He put it out through a label deal, but it was his own record label, so it's not a Warner's product. Impossible to find now, and I'm not looking it up, but I've seen it go for as much as $50, $60. A lot of those MPG records, the week after he passed, were going for hundreds.
I will say, for those of you in the audience who are collectors, one of the songs that I'd never skip on that album is Email, and largely because it has Savion Glover tapping in it.
Wow.
And so there's a level of, like, I encourage you all the time to support things in the here and now because of the especially live performances. But outside of live performances, in these recordings, if you collect the catalog of the artists that you love, you get a chance to see where they are at particular moments in time, what is important for them to release into the world, and these moments that they capture. And I think that whole idea of Prince and Savion even being in the same room and kind of listening to one another and building with one another, that's spectacular to me.
Well, I mean, be clear, Prince, if there's any music that you've heard by Prince, it's exactly the way he wanted it to be heard. Yeah. Like there was no... If
it was ever formally released.
Like even a bootleg was something that he personally leaked himself, right? Yeah. So whether or not you're ready to take on a Prince song or whatever, that's his piece of art, the way he intended you to experience
it. Now that's all going to change, of course, because now the family is in charge of it.
Yeah, I think, they're going to bring Lenny Kravitz and put the drums in?
Yeah, I was going to say, so there is new music from Prince that is expected before the end of 2018 that is influenced by what the family now is choosing from the massive vault of music he left behind that was unreleased, and that they're going to start releasing into the world. And so
I'm open to that as long as they do what they did with the Michael Jackson, where they give you the cleaned up version as well as the whatever was available.
There's no guarantees of that, but we hope that is the approach they will take.
There's enough finished Prince music to not just immediately start giving us bad Prince music.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, Quincy I love, but the idea of like Akon duetting with Prince, that was a Quincy thing. That was not a Michael Jackson. I mean, with Michael Jackson.
Oh, well, we'll talk about Eagles on the second break, but while you're talking about Michael Jackson, I don't know if you're aware, but February 3rd is the 15th anniversary of the Living with Michael Jackson special, the Martin Bashir thing, the Hatchet piece that shut.
I never saw it.
Well, I was watching it again last night. This was the piece. He allowed this guy to come visit, spend like almost 6 months with him. Yeah. To make a half-hour film, and didn't get director's approval. He didn't give the guy approval. Like he said, "Oh, this is so generous. This is from my heart," and he let the guy film. And then of course they sold it to ABC. Yeah. And then they made it into this whole thing. Next thing, Michael Jackson is up on charges again. Yep. Dancing on roofs. Yep. But justice prevailed, right? He was acquitted. He had to bring Reverend Allen and all them people in. But I was doing the research,
but that started part of the drug piece, because that's when
he was always on drugs.
But I'm saying that the not being able to sleep, being so deeply concerned
it definitely tortured his soul.
Yeah, about the reputation, the tarnishing of the reputation, and where he was going from here.
Well, I was going to get to two things. It's the anniversary. So my take on the anniversary is, instead of having Webster around, he should have Mr. T hanging out at Neverland. When Martin Bashir came in, like, "Hey, what are you doing with that camera, fool? Don't you know this man's in Neverland? You can't be putting this on ABC." But so this is my first thought watching it, and then also doing the research. The child, he had to pay $22 million to this kid and his family. The first time, the kid tried to kill the father. Ooh. With a barbell, and then two years after Michael Jackson died, the father ended up committing suicide.
Really?
Martin Bashir, I think 2003, he fell on his head, and he went to the doctors. They discovered he had a brain tumor. So you see how that operates.
Wow.
You see, I mean, Bashir's still around, but he hasn't worked.
But that is a serious karmic shift.
I don't know. So we'll see what happens. Halftime Super Bowl in Minneapolis with Justin Timberlake. Janet Jackson's not going to show up.
Nope. He has said repeatedly, for those people who are looking for a reunion moment, it's not happening.
Well, Prince will show up. Justin better come out with some Purple Rain. He's in Minneapolis at the Dome, and the Eagles are going to be up 10.
Man of the Woods out today.
Just playing. Anyway,
is his new project. For those of you
Justin
who are
has a new album?
Man of the Woods.
Well, he timed it well because how when Missy did the Super Bowl, everybody immediately, who was that? And they downloaded her song like a billion times.
Well, I mean, of course it's going, but it wasn't going to come out before. If people don't like it, then he basically doesn't want to shift too much of the conversation away from the Super Bowl performance. So he wasn't going to release it before today in order, for that window. Which
that's having a big 1-800 number.
But we got to get ready to take our first break. But I want to
Man of the Woods. Okay.
This whole idea of the progression of artists and what they have to say in ways. I want to talk to you about Rotten Tomatoes and Black Panther on the other side.
I'm not even sure. Oh, but the thing is, excellent documentary on YouTube called Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror from 2017. What they did, they made a documentary. They talked to all of his close friends and associates. They even got the guy who played Oliver, who donated his sperm, to admit that he was a sperm donor for Michael's first 2 kids. It's a brilliant documentary, although flawed. Like, there's one scene where Michael's on a cell phone talking to Quincy Jones, and there's a flat screen TV in the back. I'm like, okay, they could have spent a little more on the production design, but beautiful story, well written, excellent, and it's free on YouTube. Man in the Mirror 2017. It'll really give you insight into the amount of pain that Michael Jackson put into his art. Got you. Well, that and much more when we continue with this week's edition of Real Black Radio. I would like to be that brave. She cries to the heavens above. There's a stone in my heart. She lives a life she didn't choose, and it hurts like brand new shoes. Yes, it hurts like brand new shoes. And it hurts like brand new shoes. There is a woman in Rwanda. The sun. From her album Testimony, Volume 2, Love and Politics, that is India Ari and Dobet Naore, I think is how you pronounce that last name, with a remake of the Sade song Pearls. And for those of you who have not been keeping tabs or keeping count, India Ari was nominated for a Grammy this year for her album Songversation Medicine, and nominated under the New Age category. There have been a lot of folks who have been fighting against the boxes that people generally try to contain them in, and have been releasing the artistry that comes from their spirit. And India Ari is certainly one of those. She wasn't invited to perform in the main telecast, but she did perform in the Grammy pre-show in Regal Purple. That, oh my God, it was beautiful. And it was a redemptive moment for her, because for those of us who keep tabs on these things, the year that India Ari was nominated for, I think, 5 Grammys for her debut album was also the year of the Clive Davis machine backing Alicia Keys. Nice. And there was absolutely no opportunity for India Ari to get in there. Clive Davis had Alicia Keys sewn up with the awards where they were going head to head, and it was humbling. And it was devastating for a moment for India, because she was very proud of that debut album. And being on Motown, you expect that Motown's got a machine. And she learned very clearly. I think Stevie Wonder was the one. The first time I remember India Ari, it was like bonus tracks on one of those. Bamboozle. On the Spike Lee soundtrack. No, but when you get signed to a legendary label, Yeah.
You just expect on some level that they got some juice.
Well, welcome to America.
Exactly. She learned. And
but she kept plugging away, and she became a better artist. So there's nothing.
Agree.
I mean, Alicia Keys, she's on her thing too. I saw her all over Instagram, and she's gotten stronger. I mean, I think we're in this a huge cultural renaissance. I don't even know how far back it goes.
Yeah.
The seeds, but I think what is it? Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Exactly.
And true artistry is winning right now, and I think people that really have cultivated their voice have really a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and so to India's credit, she said that BMG backed this album that they filed under New Age, and she's very thankful for that because it was a message she wanted to deliver. The next one's independent, though. So there are so many people who are leaving the machine, ladies and gentlemen, and taking control of not only what they write and film and release into the world, but also the way that it makes it into the world.
It's a commercial ploy. Back in the day, if you were like a over the hill R&B singer, you'd make a gospel record and get a Grammy.
Here you go.
I'm serious. I can make you a list of all. Oh, now I found God. I'm gonna make a gospel record, and then all of a sudden,
why are you layering that onto India Ari? That's not what she did.
I can't win in R&B. Bruno Mars got that locked up. Let me throw some New Age at you.
No, I'm questioning the people that would call it New Age. How does Bruno Mars get traditional R&B and NDRE is New Age?
Cha-ching. Well, look, it's all bought and paid for, right? Just to get your record in the store. Half the Grammy nominees I never even heard of. It was all Twitter people, like Jean Baylor, thank you. Congratulations to her.
Yes.
I know Jean Baylor. But half those people on the list, they were either people that were heavily promoted over like 10 years ago and their name, or they're like people that are just like,
they were a lot of independent artists. So people, I am arguing.
Which meant I didn't watch the show.
Shush.
I just stayed.
But those people didn't get live performances anyway.
Okay.
So the way that I put it to you, those of you who are tuning in and checking us out on Facebook Live, is that the independent move is no longer just the kind of provenance of the up and coming artists. There are people who have been well within the idea of what it meant to be successful 20 years ago, which was getting lots of money to get signed to a label and putting out your music that way, who understand it's still not all that it's cracked up to be, and are coming back into the space where they're maintaining ownership.
That brings us back around. We're talking about Monique. I've versed all my opinions on Instagram. We haven't spoken about it, but Monique she got on Instagram in a fit of whatever and said, I want everybody to boycott Netflix.
Which was not going to happen. Not even on a good day.
But did she have a point? I mean, she's a choir of one, granted. Like I could say, hey, we should all boycott cocoa butter sticks because they're half as big as they were 5 years ago.
Lord of mercy.
And I'd be by myself. People be like, I still need my cocoa butter. I don't care how much it costs. It's the same thing if it's just one person, but if you get like 20, 30 people, you build some momentum, maybe people start thinking, hey, maybe I need to switch over.
I do not think that Monique's point was invalid at all. I think she made a darn good point about how women, and Black women in particular, are devalued within this space. And I'm glad that Wanda Sykes chimed in almost immediately to validate the message. People wanted to shoot the messenger when it came to Monique in this conversation about negotiating with Netflix. But Wanda Sykes was like, they offered you $500,000. They offered me $250,000. And then I said, peace. Like, I'm not even, I mean, like, it's insulting for you to even offer me that little bit of money. People need to communicate before they go in the room, because then they know what the prices are. Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock are best friends. They know how much each other's getting. So they're going to get the top dollar for their specials. Plus, they don't perform enough and they've established their rate over time because of their relationships with other pre-existing brands, right? Monique is coming back. She's still on the come up. Like, her biggest specials are like BET, and she's burned a lot of bridges. So she's, but that doesn't mean like don't pay her what she's worth. Right. It's just
if they're not offering, then you can go get your own money and sell them the special for what they're willing to offer. And then you still own the product. You can sell it over and over again.
So this is part of the reason why I was emphasizing the independent thing, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that,
I mean, once you know how much they're going to pay you, go make your own special, sell it to them.
And this principle should apply in any number of different ways. The whole idea, we complain so often that it seems like we're pandering for Golden Globes or Oscars or whatever these other awards are that are supposed to validate and establish a certain pay rate. But at the same time, when you sit down at the negotiating table, you have to understand your worth, and you need to have your system in place to make something happen. There's no reason why Monique at this stage of her career should not either have money herself or have access to money to independently produce a piece that she can then sell back.
Kevin Hart's throwing money at everybody to make specials, right? Jeff Flanagan is throwing money at everybody to make specials. She can get the money. She's just offended that they would kind of put the carrot out.
But the whole idea is, if you're going to them as your first line of defense, you don't have a product and you haven't said, this is my bottom line number that I expect from you in order to get this done, then you're setting yourself up to get lowballed.
And beyond that, I mean, it's all on my Instagram, but be clear, like, there's a gift and a curse of Netflix. If Netflix monopolizes this whole thing and net neutrality comes in, they can drop all the black shows as fast as UPN did.
Yep.
Right. So it's very important that you don't just say, I got it covered, I got my Netflix code. You know, you really have to put money into the work that you want to see. Like thankfully we're on an independent station. Like, if I'm looking at the numbers for this show, we're like the Frank's Place of black talk radio. Literally, nobody's really paying attention right now to this, but that gives us a certain amount of freedom to, very few toes we're going to step on having this conversation, I believe. But yeah, I mean, Monique, she makes a very valid point. Or get yourself a white girl in your corner. Get Reese Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon is the Jerry Maguire of Black Hollywood. She's in there getting paid. There's a reason why she got 3 legs on the cover. She needs that extra leg to kick these white boys behind.
For those of you
she was on the set.
Okay. Pause. For those of you who have no idea what Mike is talking about right now, coming
Reese
into
Witherspoon,
the Golden Globes,
call Monique,
to the Golden Globes,
get her money.
She and Oprah made the cover of Vanity Fair, and whoever was doing the photo retouching of this didn't realize that folks had extra limbs. Like, Oprah had 3 arms and Reese Witherspoon had 3 legs. They combined photos and they did a horrible job at it. And it's like, come on,
that extra leg is
really?
To put the foot. Reese Witherspoon is in Wrinkle in Time.
Yes. Right.
Wrinkle in Time is a Disney movie. They shot simultaneous to Black Panther. They're on the same sound stages. She's gone back and forth. You're seeing Ryan Coogler in here and seeing all the special effects, black people flying around in space.
She's had her woke
she's in her
now.
thing. And Oprah's doing all this magical, mystical stuff in the trailer. And Reese is sitting there like, wow, you did all that. And how much did they pay you? How much what you did? It's like the girl in the help. This food tastes so good. Wait, you made these greens taste like this
with that
how
little
much?
bit of stuff, really?
Come on, Octavia.
That's right.
So Monique needs to either call Octavia or get in a Oprah Winfrey, Ava DuVernay movie or something, because clearly Lee Daniels is not there to help you. Mm-mm. But if you feel things are not just, you need to get your money.
But you know what the thing about that is, and it's very true, is that in the grant making community, there is the conversation about who's your water bearer, right? Because if you are just a great artist with a great idea and you're vying for the millions of dollars that foundations give away every year in order to put your product into the world, the first time that you are really up for substantial money with these things, it's like gnashing teeth. There is so little a kind of welcome for you in the large foundation space if you are unproven, right? And so they say usually that first significant grant, you need to have somebody who is well respected in the artistic world or philanthropic world to go, do you know how brilliant this newcomer is? Give them some money and let them do what they do. And once you get the first one, then they beget themselves.
But Monique has had her moment like that. And I think, I mean, her struggle, her fight, I mean, she's taken on that whole mantle of, you know, Oscar winner. I'm carrying the torch for Hattie McDaniel, and this is a whole system of injustices that I'm up against. But it's like, but you're kind of tarnished at the same time. Like you've cried wolf so much about things that are just so obvious. Like, look, Lee Daniels gave you the role of a lifetime. You didn't get paid for it, but you got to shine. And And you were overwhelmed. You felt that you know, you needed more incentive to travel to promote this film, and you won the Oscar anyway. And there's consequences and repercussions.
Well, I think also what is incredibly important in that is if you feel like you've been blackballed in Hollywood,
you probably have been.
Yes. And how were you prepared? Again, this is the system. What systems are you creating for yourself to continue to make work, let alone be able to reach back and bring somebody else along with you? There are plenty of people who have not necessarily been embraced by Hollywood even after an Oscar win, but they do independent films. They do other things. And she did Blackbird,
well, absolutely,
which I thought was really interesting. But you have to, it's like, what is the mark? Do you constantly want to have your hand out, or are you going to, you know, rebuild your stock independently?
And you have to change your
ways
friends
to make
too.
Your money.
You have to upgrade your friends. You can't be commiserating with the same people that are just having the same struggles. You can't be sitting up there with Kim Whitley complaining. You got to find Reese Witherspoon. I'm telling you, call Reese Witherspoon.
And perhaps you should not have your husband negotiating your deals.
Well, perhaps, but the money stays in the bank. You're not giving your 15% away to nobody. But you should not necessarily be having. If that
15% is going to give you 6 times the juice, then it's worth the 15%.
Well, look, I mean, all right. Well, she's got her core audience. So do we. Our 300 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, whatever. We have our core audience, and I think that's what she needs to build from. There's a cool-off period. Unfortunately, social media, the fact that she's got to constantly create content, constantly be transparent. Leslie Jones constantly, look, I just want to see the transformation. I don't need to see you in the gym without makeup every single day. That does not make me feel like I'm going to be any more powerful. You know, so, you know, I'm just saying, I'm just being real. Like, I pay attention to, I love Les Dog. I love, you know, sometimes you just have to save those videos for later. You know, it's like, this was me 6 months ago. Now I'm at the Olympics.
Yes.
You know, I don't need to see the Rocky moment.
Every day.
Rocky was a movie. They edited out a lot of stuff to get to the walking up the steps, you know? So, look, they're going to be good. They got more money than all of us do, and they can make phone calls. They're going to be good. But at the same time, it's a different battle. I don't think it's fair that people should tease or parody what Monique is talking about. Without examining the fact that Dee Reese got played the exact same way. They knew exactly how much Mudbound cost, right? And they paid her maybe $1 more. So she's not seeing any more money off of Mudbound.
Right.
She got 4 Oscar nominations. She's got to my knowledge, she's got no 3-picture deal with Netflix. Like, we want to see what you want to do next, D, and we're going to pay you twice as much as what you did for Mudbound. So she took all the risks. They gained all the reward. It's the same rhinestone sharecropping that Prince complained about, and they're going to do it to everybody. If it benefits you, at least know what the prices are before you go into Netflix. Find out how much people are paying. See if it's worth selling your house for that amount. And make sure that they have a marketing budget in place. Make sure that once they buy your movie, that they're going to commit a certain amount of time and resources to promoting your film. Otherwise, it's just going to end up on the specific timeline algorithm that they place. And then we're going to have that same conversation we had with Gina Prince Bythewood.
Amen. Amen. And I'm wondering if Mercedes because I don't know that Tracy would do it. I wonder if Mercedes would be willing to have that conversation with us about what the Jazzies went through after signing to MCA.
It's interesting. I have footage of Rich talking about it. I don't think they ever anticipated that record was going to sell a lot.
Well, no, not that, but
the whole run around.
But yeah, so as we talk about Water Bearers, as we talk about,
it's the same story every day.
You know, whether we're talking about music, whether we're talking about film, all of our creativity lives in this space of know what you're worth and demand it and negotiate it. Because Chance the Rapper, you know, there were so many conversations around, plenty of labels offered. Ooh, sorry.
Well, we
Facebook
got to fix
Live,
that.
folks.
We got to frame that up.
Yes.
You got to. Just point the camera. Just point the camber at us. We're almost done.
Until we get to break.
All right. People listening can't see this, but anyway, she's framing it up.
But yeah,
too much information.
The idea of a guy in his 20s experiencing incredible success as an independent artist. Most people think, the first time somebody throws $1 million in your face, you're going to jump at it. And he was like, nope. No, thank you. I'm doing okay as an independent artist. I get to keep more of my money. And he has not signed to a label. He has signed deals to distribute some of his work. And he continues to find ways to elevate his voice and expand what he's able to do artistically because he owns his stuff. And I think that is an incredible example, not just for millennials, but for anybody to remember in this day and age. You can own it and you can figure out how to make money at it if you're going to focus fully on that as your mission.
Yeah, those three hats are hard to come by, but know who his father is. His father is one of the top political organizers in Chicago. So, but he's a and also King Britt's another person studied, and John Legend.
Yes.
They're all marketing majors.
Yep.
They knew they had the talent. They were marketing majors when they went to college.
Yeah.
So you have to understand it, and you have to know your worth and make sure that people are behind you. Don't go in antagonistic.
Yeah.
If you want to play that game.
Yeah. If you're trying to win on the financial tip, you can't do it haphazardly. You got to have a plan.
Somebody got to get to 10%.
That's right. And too many people have died broke for us to not get this formula right in 2018 moving forward.
Everybody pay tax.
We got to take our final commercial break, and we'll come back and wrap up this week's edition of Real Black Radio in just a moment.
Eagles.
The Philadelphia Eagles have won the NFC Championship, and they're going to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl again. The Philly boys is hot. The Philly boys is hot. And even though we number one, they still was taking shots. How you feel now? You all up in your feelings. You better bow down when the Eagles in the building. The Super Bowl bound. How you like us now? This NFC belongs to us, and this is how we sound. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory. Fly, Eagles, fly. What the hell is wrong with you people? Somebody should have told you don't bet against the Eagles. Don't bet against the Birds. The Philadelphia Eagles. The way we smacked the Vikings. Yo, that shouldn't even be legal. The Vikings wasn't ready. And Tom Brady either. Don't wait till we win that Super Bowl and then be a believer. Get on this bandwagon, cause we are flying high. Be the Philadelphia Eagles and we fight.
I always try to be cool, even because I never got one.
NFC belong to us, and this is how it sounds.
So, Mike Dennis, who are we listening to?
That's the one and only Philly boy, MC Breeze. He is blowing it up. He's got the Fly Eagles Fly Super Bowl theme song. Down at Wing Ball this morning, and I guess in 2 days it's about to happen. It's about to go down. Eagles going to win the championship for the first time ever in history. Ever. It's not a question of if, it's when. Where will you be when the Eagles win? Are you going to be turning over cars? Are you going to be sitting at home? Are you going to be chilling? Are you going to be eating some Hers potato chips? Are you going to have some tasty cakes? Where are you going to be the moment it goes down?
I'm just letting this hype play itself out because this is not my thing at all. Like I said,
DC.
I opened my show though today by saying that I hope you all get your ring. It's long overdue.
You see, just are you? Why?
Yeah,
why
I'm not
you?
an Eagle. I'm never going to be an Eagles fan, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
You're a Redskins fan.
I'm not that name.
Are you against Tom Brady? Do you want him to
I
have
hate
as many
Tom Brady.
rings as Michael Jordan?
No, I said I wish Philly well. I'm not going to be hypocritical. I'm not. You all are in the same division as my home team, so no, I'm not going to be an Eagles fan.
Hand me that magazine.
I'm just saying.
I need Ava. I need Ava.
Go away.
I need Oprah.
But like I said, I mean it's overdue. Y'all don't have a ring, so I can support the idea of it for a city that has given me so much. For y'all to get a ring, it's long overdue. And so I hope that things turn out well.
This is the hope.
And I certainly hope,
change.
because I was there 13 years ago, dude. I was expecting it to happen 13 years ago. And y'all
Why can't it happen Sunday? Why can't we all
I
just...
hope it does. I hope it does. I'm just not going to do it from the false pretense that I'm an Eagles fan. That's all.
I don't know how I feel about that. What are you saying, Kayla?
See?
I didn't say be an Eagles fan, but root for the home division.
Listen,
When the Eagles win, she's gonna get this. This is. Well, is that enough of a motivating factor?
That's vintage.
This is an original. For those who can't see, original 7-inch 45 Prince and the Revolution Raspberry Beret. On Paisley Park Records, from my original collection.
Can y'all
pristine,
see that? You got
pristine
hold
vinyl.
it up for them. Look at that.
Picture
B-side
cover.
is She's Always in My Hair.
No water damage.
That's beautiful.
Pristine. Smell it. Now see, smell victory. No, all right. So you
That's
you
called
never
bribery, ladies
you
and gentlemen.
never-
That's payola in radio.
you're never ever gonna get the Prince.
That's
40.
beautiful. I don't even think mine. I don't know that no, I'm holding it.
Okay.
I don't even think mine had this cover. Mine was purple vinyl, but I don't think mine had this cover. So it was just a regular old plain like white wrapper.
Well, at the very least, tune in at halftime. I know they're in Minneapolis. They cannot do a halftime show with Justin Timberlake and not acknowledge Prince in some form of fashion.
Sheila E. on timbales.
So that's enough a reason for you non-believers to watch. And trust me, they're going to be up by 10 at halftime.
This is your prediction?
Yeah. Now the fix is in. Right, unless there's like a Twitter scandal against Tom Brady that throws him off his game, it's going to be very close up until the fourth quarter. Now, the NFL, as we know, is rigged, right? Because we remember the Super Bowl halftime show with Beyonce, where they had literally 1 million people working on this game, and the power just went off.
Yes.
For like, so if the Eagles are at all ahead or close to scoring, there's a very good chance that the power will just stop.
It better not, with it being negative 20 degrees outside. They're expecting when they play this game, all the power better be working for the heat to be on and the lights to be on in that
but I think
new
Stephanie
stadium.
Renee is in our corner now. I got my Eagles.
Rivalry.
I'm not even washing this thing until Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
After the parade. The parade is Wednesday. I'm not going to no parade because there's too many white people there. I'm not going South Philly, Broad Street, trying to be because they'll hug up on you. I don't need my head rubbed. But I love my Eagles fans. I'm looking forward to it.
He's not lying.
I'm telling the truth. Did I lie yet? Did I tell one lie the whole hour?
Well, listen, this is why I was like, I'm a McNeil. I don't go out on St. Patrick's Day. I was like, that is the one time where people are fascinated with my brown self. Light brown, however you want to. Yes, they do.
This will be the happiest everybody's ever been. Now, my aunt, she can go to the Mummers Parade. That's fine. But this is going to be, when the Eagles win, this is going to be the craziest that we've ever seen in the city.
Yes, it will be.
And hopefully people will buy into that energy and start focusing on what they need to accomplish and stop hating on people, because finally, like Breeze, his record was like Philly is stepping in. I don't think it's a mistake that he's got the theme song for the Super Bowl. I truly believe in my everything that at least I'll have some potato chips and some pizza on Sunday. and maybe, you know, somebody might convince me to drink a beer. That's all I got.
You know, well, I mean, like I say, I think the city has needed it. And if this win comes at this time, it will be a boost that the entire city needs in order to hopefully take some of that energy and transform it into some sustained growth and prosperity, and also some suppressed foolishness between various neighborhoods and factions and everything else that we've seen going on.
I'm not sure if we're going to be singing "We Are the World."
No, I don't expect that. And Philly is going to be the last place that would immediately have that kind of transformative energy.
We still got
happen.
a soda tax, so
oh, here you go. Don't start.
I got to go to Glenside to get a Coca-Cola. Come on, that ain't right.
Just spend the money. That if you're going to drink bad, then pay for drinking bad. It is what it is. But
all right, I believe the children of the future. If the soda tax is helping the kids,
there's a level of win, because you know we say win euphemistically, but there's a level of win that Philly needs. And so, you know, like I say, I can support
everybody.
The win for a lot of different reasons, because sometimes people need to be convinced that it's going to get better. Well, and I don't think that football is a heal-all, situation. I just think it is a step towards people believing that it's possible, especially with the underdog kind of characteristic that people have taken on in relation to
So
this.
that was my exact point. So when I was in Utah, I was wearing the same jersey, and everybody's like, we're rooting for the Eagles. Like, we just don't want to see New England win. We don't want to see the same people win all the time. We don't want to see the dominant people always winning. And I honestly believe that we're in a period where well, first off, Nick Foles is ready. Everybody's prepared. Like, New England cannot be any more prepared because they've played it so many times. Right. So, you know, like somebody says, it's a false analogy to say that Eagles are the Buster Douglas of the NFL. But I do think that we're going to definitely bring our A game, and we need the Me Too movement. All these things are turning the tide of stuff, and this would just be like Philly's version, icing on the cake. I think everybody who is in their right mind wants the Eagles to win. So I just channel that energy. We'll leave that. I want that back
as the final picture. La la la.
You can have that anyway, but know you deserve it. Know you deserve it. When the Eagles win, when the Eagles win, know you deserve it. Otherwise, you're just a hater, and you deserve everything.
I thank you for the gesture. He knows how much I love this stuff.
Or whatever. Who did you get? You can keep all them wide receivers, all the people, our cast-offs. We got the team this year.
Here you go. Well, while we speak about tonight and leading into the weekend, it is my obligation to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that tonight's Word Speaks, the Philadelphia Negro Past and Present event, is officially sold out. But you can still tune in to our live broadcast that will air on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, wordradio.com, and via the Word app from 5:30 to 7 p.m. this evening, so you don't have to miss a thing. Tune in to Word Radio tonight from 5:30 to 7 so that you can join us for tonight's edition of Word Speaks, and we'll see you on the radio. Thank you, as always, Mike D, for your... Why are you showing me?
It's legitimate. I'm showing the cocoa butter stick. Let's see how little cocoa butter. That's a brand new cocoa butter stick. There's half full and twice as much money.
It's not half full. It's more than half. It's more like three-quarters. But yeah,
it's like one of them pop-up sticks. You know, with ice cream.
You need to hit your knuckles with them, though, real quick.
I'm not ashy. I never said it was non-ashy radio.
But that's a black folk situation. We just got to handle it.
This is the secret. This is the secret cure for everything.
But it is time for us to go. Thank you, as always, for the great conversation. Brother Shamari is coming up next for this edition of The Shamari Show here on our TGIF edition of Word Radio. Not just the source, but throughout today's program. And keep your dial locked, and especially those of you who did not get tickets for tonight's Word Speaks, make sure you are tuning in on the radio. Lord willing, we do this all over again, 10 a.m. next Friday, and hope you tune in at that time. I'm Stephanie Renee. He's Mike D. Peace.